Hello, welcome to Tea Science Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. You've been probably losing track of time like me during quarantine. No, it's not Tuesday. I decided that I would go ahead and do a Tea Science live stream slash recorded IGTV thing, just because part of the reason I'm not haven't been doing it in so long is because of I keep trying to do it on a Tuesday, and that's actually not a good day really anymore during quarantine. So we're doing an impromptu one. It's Sunday, and we are going to be talking about parasitic plants and drinking some crab's legs. This is a cool, not tea. It's not the tea plant, but it is a parasite that grows on the tea plant. And it's a little bit hard to see there. Maybe we'll try to get a better image of it later. But it's like these, it looks like crab's legs, kind of. It's actually a mistletoe. So it's a mistletoe species. And so I thought it'd be a cool opportunity to talk a little bit about parasitic plants. And then, because they're super cool, they're so awesome. And then also, I've never tasted this before. And some people have told me it's terrible and weird. Other things I've read says it's nice and sweet, a little bit bitter. So I'm really curious to taste it. So I will start by telling you guys a little bit about parasitic plants. Actually, like made slides, but really just because I want to show you pictures. But also, I'm a nerd. So parasitic plants come in lots of different varieties, but one thing that they all have in common is a special kind of root called a haustorium. And this is a special root that is built to tap into other plants. So there's a mistletoe with a haustorium tapping into the tree that it's growing on. And then this orange squiggly thing with all these little suckers, looks like an octopus tentacle. That orange thing is a parasitic plant called dodder, D-O-D-D-E-R. And each of those little suction cups things is a haustorium that is a specialized root that's gonna tap into its host plant, and it's gonna steal all its nutrients, or some of its nutrients at least, from that plant rather than acquiring them or making them itself. And there are two big categories for parasitic plants. There are some that are called hemiparasites. And hemiparasites are ones that do... Oh, hey, Catherine. Hemiparasites are plants that do make some of their own food. And so here is a paintbrush over here, and it is a really common plant in sort of the Rocky Mountain area. And then this is mistletoe, which you're probably familiar with. Hello and welcome, more people. I'm talking about parasitic plants because I'm going to be drinking a parasitic plant on tea in a moment that I've never tried before. So just a little intro on parasites, plant parasites. So the hemiparasites are ones that, they're lazy plants. Exactly, Catherine. They steal some of their energy from their host. Mistletoe, in the case of mistletoe, it's stealing it from a tree. And then these paintbrush are actually doing something really interesting, and they are stealing it from mycorrhizae, which are fungi, a fungus that helps plants' roots. So lots of plants are associated with mycorrhizae, these fungi that help them acquire nutrients. So this steals the food from the fungus that's then connected to another plant. So it's indirectly stealing food from other plants. But mistletoe's green, and it's doing some of its own photosynthesis. So it's not getting 100% of its food from the host plant. Then there are these hollow parasites. These ones are very lazy. They get all of their energy from their host plant. And that means they don't need to do photosynthesis. They don't need to be green. They don't even need to have leaves, or sometimes they don't even have above ground parts for most of their life. So they have the opportunity to become really weird. So here is one called ghost pipe. And this is in the blueberry family, believe it or not. And it is looks almost like a fungus or like an alien or something. And this one's pretty common around here. It is something that's over harvested apparently because people think it has medicinal properties or something. Don't harvest this for medicine. Um, yeah. And then the one on this side that looks like some spaghetti is a really weird vine called Dodder, Dodder, and it grows all over the place. And it's a vine, and it taps into plants with its little haustoria, its specialized roots. And the cool thing about Dodder is it can smell. It sprouts, it starts in the ground, and it can smell where its host plant is and grow towards it, so it can attach to it. So that's pretty neat. But what we're going to drink, and let me get my water going for a second, is crab's legs. So like I said before, it's a mistletoe. This is what it looks like when it's growing. Its Latin name is Viscum articulatum. Sometimes you see it as Viscum liquidambaricolum, which is really hard to say. That's an older name for it as far as I can tell. So yeah, it's a mistletoe, and that means it's a hemiparasite. Mistletoes are poisonous usually. So yeah, I see Catherine's asking, is this safe? This is something that I would not drink a lot of. I did read up on it and see that there have been some studies on the toxicity, and it's pretty safe at low doses. So I'm actually going to drink only a pretty small amount. I'm only brewing 1 gram, partly because of that, just a little concerned about toxicity, partly because I've heard that it's really bitter tasting, and partly because I just read a great article on Tea Journey magazine talking about this and said that it was really common for people in Yunnan province, where this primarily grows, to only brew like a gram or 2 of it, much less than you would of tea. So yeah, you can kind of see why it's called crab's legs, because these are actually stems, not leaves. It doesn't really have leaves, but these stems have this sort of jointed appearance, like a crab leg. Pretty interesting. And this is actually a pretty expensive tea, even though it's a parasite on tea plants. It's also a parasite on other plants, by the way. It doesn't only grow on tea plants. It's a pretty expensive plant, partly because people use it for medicinal value. It's used in Chinese traditional medicine, which I know pretty much nothing about. But as far as what I read on a quick Google search, it's for dispelling heat and dampness, which, as far as I know, aren't actual ailments. So there is some research, though, and looking at some of the compounds that are in the plant as anti-cancer, having anti-cancer effects, and some other things as well. So in fact, there's a number of patents in China for different extracts of this plant that may have medicinal properties. Yeah, Catherine says, are you damp? It's pretty humid. Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, it's pretty, I could use removal of dampness and heat right now. Yeah, I know that those terms don't actually mean literal dampness and literal heat. I'm also drinking it out of this cup that has a crab on it. So I got both this cup and this crab's leg tea from Bitter Leaf Teas. So, smell? Kind of weird. Lindsay, how would you describe the smell? It's really familiar, but I don't know what it is. It's not a good smell, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
It's
It's a little smoky.
it's kind of like almost like a maple syrupy, but like in a bad way or something. I don't know. So we're just doing 1 gram of this, and I am going to use pretty close to boiling water. I guess I should rinse it. I don't know. Should I rinse it? I'm going to rinse it. So yeah, this is supposedly something that grows on only the oldest tea trees, and that kind of makes sense. So one of the coolest things about mistletoe that I'll talk about before I taste this and get distracted is how it's spread. So mistletoe, right, has to start growing on a tree. It's not like that other parasitic plant daughter that starts in the ground and then kind of winds its way to its host. Mistletoe starts growing on a tree. So if the seeds don't land on a tree, then they're screwed, right? They can't grow. So how do they ensure that they land on a tree? So mistletoe makes these white berries, usually white, that have this really sticky, slimy substance inside called viscum. And birds eat them. And those seeds, the fruits, pass through their digestive tract like pretty much intact. And when they come out the other end, that sticky viscum stuff makes it so that the seeds stick to their butts. And then they have to wipe their butts off on a tree branch to get the seed unstuck. And that sticky substance then hardens and kind of glues the seed to the tree so that it can sprout and grow into a mistletoe. So yeah, this is what I'm drinking. So the wet leaves, actually smell pretty good now. Like there's some floral sweetness in there that I didn't smell before. It's still like some weird like vegetal kind of thing going on, but it does have like something sweet going on in there, I think.
Yeah, it smells a little like Oriental Beauty.
Yeah, a little bit like Oriental Beauty tea. You brought a cup. Cool. Perfect. So I'm going to hit this again and actually brew it this time. I have no idea how long to steep this for. Probably going to err on the side of short, although I don't see a lot of color change happening, so just give it 30 seconds or something like that. So another thing that people will commonly do with this tea is mix it with raw pu'er, apparently, and that they complement each other really well. Sometimes you can even get cakes of tea that are pressed that have this crab's legs, this mistletoe parasite mixed in with the tea leaves. And just something I read before this was saying, if you add some of these crab's legs, it complements the pu'er really well, and so you can sort of use less of both. It's not really doing a whole lot color-wise, and it still it doesn't smell like a whole lot. But I'm going to go ahead and try it because I don't want to risk getting something that's really gross and bitter. I'd rather err on the side of a light color. Catherine says, is it so you can mask the awful taste of poisonous plants? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I still don't know. Maybe this tastes amazing. Although everything I've heard says it does not. I forgot to show you the color there, but it's kind of a light golden yellow. Here we go. Underbrewed. Definitely underbrewed. Okay. Maybe this is crazy, but I'm gonna put in like another pinch, and I'm gonna brew that again for longer.
It's not bad.
Well, it's not bad because it mostly just tastes like water,
No,
right?
I mean, I taste something.
I mostly taste water. A little bit of a little bit of something. Yeah. So parasitic plants are amazing, and I highly recommend that you just like spend some time Googling images of parasitic plants, because there are so many weird and crazy things where if you're not making your own food, like suddenly that frees up a lot of possibilities. Like, oh, I don't need to have leaves? Cool. I can just grow underground and then make like a giant extravagant flour because it's not even my sugar. Like, who cares? I'm not wasting my stuff. It's somebody else's money that I'm wasting, right? So there's all kinds of bizarre parasitic plants out there. Especially those hollow parasites are pretty weird and extreme sometimes. And pretty cool. Okay. So that's about double the leaf material. And gonna give it a little extra time too. Yeah, I really don't taste anything in this. You taste?
Nothing?
You taste it?
I think I do, but you're making me
It's
doubt
like
myself.
it's like a little bit just like planty. And that's it, right? Supposedly it has a high concentration of a type of chemical called saponins, which are soapy tasting. But I don't get any sort of soapiness
No,
in it.
just tastes
Um,
like a brewed plant.
yeah, tastes like plant. Not super exciting. Okay, getting some of the aroma now. So let's try this. This is double the leaves, and definitely get a little bit of a darker color there. I forgot my cloth thing. I'll show you the color this time. So yeah, kind of a light golden, yellowish green color. And here's some for you. Let's see. It's actually not bad.
I don't think it's bad.
I was really like expecting something awful, but it's not bad. It's mildly sweet. It's actually not bitter at all. I'm really sensitive to bitter stuff usually, and it doesn't taste bitter at all to me. Um, it has like a sweet aftertaste. It's like a little bit kind of funky vegetal, but not in like a terrible way. I'm mostly unimpressed.
Yeah, I don't think that it is tasty enough to.
I also don't
Regular.
feel that much less damp.
Maybe the effects are not immediate.
Maybe it's removing the dampness from the inside of me and putting it on the outside, and that's why I'm feeling sweaty. I don't actually know. Like I said, I don't know what removing dampness means. Maybe somebody who watches this can comment and let me know what I'm supposed to experience when my dampness is removed.
I think it's a little mentholy, maybe. Very slightly.
Let's do a slurp here. Oh yeah, it's a little mentholy tasting if you do a slurp. I like briefly looked at a paper that described the chemicals in it, and it said it had vanillin in it, so it should taste kind of vanilla-y.
Oh.
I don't know. Probably low concentrations though. Yeah, it doesn't seem worth the potential toxicity to me. Yeah, this is like I said, something to drink in moderation. I think seems like it's safe. Seems like a lot of people have been using it as a medicine, which means that it's probably not just a thing you should drink because it's delicious. So yeah, I was very curious about it. Because it's a cool plant and I like drinking plants. But yeah, I don't think I would buy this again. This is kind of expensive for something that's not really that special. Maybe I'm brewing it wrong. I don't know. Let me know in comments if you think there's something else I should do. So that's it. That's all I wanted to tell you guys about parasitic plants. They're super cool. Go Google some pictures of parasitic plants. And be in awe. They're awesome. Don't overharvest them. Don't pick things out of the wild just because you think they're medicine. Be respectful and all that. So, yeah. So that's it. So happy Tea Science Sunday, I guess. And what I might do in the future is try to make Tea Science Tuesday. I like that hashtag. So I might try to keep that to just sort of short facts and Instagram posts and just little tidbits about tea, and maybe I'll do these longer format live video things sort of when I feel like them on weekends when I have a little more time. So cool. See you guys later, and happy Tea Science Tuesday.